Given the difficulties that President Biden was having just getting through an incomprehensible town hall meeting last week, I took a look at what Vice President Kamala Harris brings to the Oval Office if for some reason the 25th Amendment is ever used to retire President Biden. I did that in the newsletter last week on MikeHuckabee.com. Now, as you'd expect, it's not encouraging news, but to no one's surprise, what Kamala has to offer is even worse than you'd expect. In fact, she holds the honorable number 2 position in the chapters of Peter Schweizer's book, Profiles in Corruption. He begins her profile with a story that shows the close connection between Vice President Harris and President Obama. She first supported him when he was running for the Senate in Illinois back in 2004. After he was elected, he flew to San Francisco to attend a fundraiser to help retire her campaign debt after being elected San Francisco District Attorney. In 2007, when President Obama announced that he was running for president, so soon after winning the Senate, Kamala Harris and several family members joined his campaign, and as Schweizer described it, they worked tirelessly. And when Obama won, Kamala Harris was there in Chicago's Grant Park for the celebration. And yes, Harris's political rise is tied to one of California's most corrupt political machines, namely the one connected to former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, Jr. As Schweizer put it, Kamala Harris's entire entry into the corridors of political power largely began with the date. At the time, he was Speaker of the State Assembly, the second most powerful political figure in California. And Brown's relationship with Harris was well known. Brown put her on various boards and commissions which did not require approval from the legislature. These were, well, let's just say, an extremely lucrative way to pad her salary of $100,000 a year as a county employee. He even bought her a new BMW. But most important of all was the access that he gave her to his vast network of political supporters, donors, and sponsors. Now soon, she was arm in arm with Brown in the most elite circles of San Francisco, including lavish parties and celebrity galas. And all of this before he was even elected mayor. In fact, it was shortly after Brown became mayor that he and Kamala Harris split up. Details of that aren't that well known. She and Brown were still political allies, though, and he continued helping her career through the most powerful political machine in California, which, of course, he ran. Kamala went on to head the career criminal unit in San Francisco, and apparently the DA who hired her soon regretted that decision. When he didn't give her a promotion that she had wanted, hiring someone else instead, she ended up with Brown's political machine backing her to run against that former boss. And as Schweizer wrote, quote, "The flow of money directly into her campaign was unlike anything the district attorney's race had ever seen," end quote. The San Francisco Weekly said, "She's hauling in money like there's no tomorrow." The San Francisco elites that she'd connected with while dating Willie Brown were really forking over the big bucks. Harris outspent her opponent 2-1, came in second behind him in a 3-person race, but in the runoff, she won and was sworn in as San Francisco DA. Now, she took her oath on a copy of the Bill of Rights rather than the Bible. Given her party's anti-constitutional proclivities, I kind of doubt the Bill of Rights was any more honest for her to use than the Bible would have been. Schweizer's chapter also tells of Kamala Harris's unimpressive history with the issue of sexual abuse of children by priests. This was a widespread scandal in California. Her predecessor had uncovered documents going back 40 years, previously sealed by the church, and had prosecuted numerous cases of child sexual abuse by priests. Well, it turns out that according to San Francisco election disclosures, the Catholic Church donated big time to Kamala Harris's campaign against her opponent, though she had no particular ties to the Catholic Church or Catholic organizations. And once she became DA, even though she had prosecuted sex crimes earlier in her career, she oddly moved in the opposite direction of her predecessor and worked to cover up the records. Victims groups wanted those records made public, and they were outraged that she wouldn't do it. From 2004 to 2011, when she was San Francisco DA, and then from 2011 to 2016, when she was California Attorney General, she never once brought a single documented case forward of an allegedly abusive priest. Throughout her career, Kamala has used her associations with powerful people to help her move forward. So it's not that surprising that her closeness to former President Obama would have led her to her current position. Before Joe Biden was nominated in 2020, some had thought that Michelle Obama might be the choice for vice president. Certainly, if Michelle had wanted it, hey, she would have been the nominee and probably the next president, as the fawning media would have made sure of that. But the Obamas managed to accomplish the same thing in a way that would still allow Michelle to sit at the beach with friends, sipping exotic drinks with those little umbrellas. They did this by putting the woman known as the female Obama, the far-left woman who shared their views in every way, but who could never have ever made it to her party's nomination, to put her on the ticket with the supposedly moderate Biden, knowing that Joe Biden would never make it through a first term. At this point, Biden can hardly make it through a town hall meeting. What the left has done to our country through this scheme will not be forgotten or forgiven. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll like this video, and be sure and comment on it if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel below and clicking the notification bell, because that helps a lot in getting our videos viewed by a whole lot more people. Now, there's no live stream this week, but we're going to be back at it next week, August the 6th. Be sure to click the link in the description to get a notification. And if you want more of my news analysis and commentary, be sure to sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. It's delivered into your email inbox twice a day, and it's completely free. Well, that's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.